Some people are only going to miss you because they can't replace you. And if you're watching this video right now, I can guarantee that you're feeling something right now. You're feeling that shift. You're feeling that raising of the vibrations, and you're feeling that God is moving you to the next level. You're graduating to the next level. I had a dream the other night where I was taking a final exam, and I didn't quite know the results yet in the dream, but the results were going to show me whether or not that I was going to be graduating from this new college or not. And I'm not the only kind of person that I've seen that has been going through these kinds of significant changes recently, where there's a leveling up taking place. And so if you just want to take a minute and feel the energy, I guarantee you'll feel that energy and that changing in the wind and the rising of your spirit. And you know, when things start to level up for you and you start to see things, and sometimes the leveling up requires you to lose things. A lot of people get that wrong. They think leveling up means, oh, I'm going to be obtaining more, I'm going to get more. Sometimes leveling up means to throw things out, to let things go. And that's actually a win, because sometimes the things that you own and the things that you want to possess will end up putting you down and weighing you down. And lightening the load is going to be important for leveling up sometimes, because whenever you're trying to climb a mountain, let's say, and you're trying to get to a certain place, some places you can't take that large bag with you, that backpack with you. You know, there's a difference. Anybody that's been backpacking, I love backpacking, man, I miss backpacking. But anybody that's been backpacking knows that if you have to climb a certain place to get somewhere, you either have to leave the bag behind or turn around. And if you're on that kind of a trail anyway, then you probably shouldn't be backpacking. So it's about knowing what kind of resources you have and knowing about what kind of resources you need to get to where you're at. You know, you wouldn't take a Porsche down a dirt road, right? You wouldn't take a Porsche down a road where you have to climb a mountain with the car in order to get there, right? You'd take probably a Jeep. You know, it's about knowing your destination and knowing where you're trying to go and what your life is going to look like down the line when you make certain decisions. And you know, that's what we need more of in this world, is better decision making. Many people in this day and age want to make decisions just to have fun, just to have a good time. And meanwhile, the world around us is crumbling. And there's these people out here that, golly, everything's just sugar, spice, and all things nice. And I just, I have to just laugh, because otherwise it's almost too horrifying to watch these people. These people that are just so lost in the matrix, they're so in fantasy land that they don't even realize what's actually happening around them. It's really hard to watch. And to see how little people actually know what to do in certain situations. To see how our women are not prepared for marriage or family or even to be mothers. And our men are not prepared to be leaders. Our men are not prepared to fight. And I'm not saying that we're aiming to fight, but golly, you got to be prepared. And I'm not going to be, you know, I'm no James Bond or anything, but I know how to throw down when I need to. But it's just, it's so hard to watch these people out here just making as many casually discrepancies, like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like these casual destructive choices that may not have an effect in the short term, but will absolutely have an effect in the long term. And you know, a lot of these people, when you start to level up, when you start to make better decisions, they don't know how to handle it, and they don't know what to do. And I'm not saying that anybody is not supposed to live an adventurous life, or a life where you get to go do things that you want to do. But you know, I heard this guy talking earlier out and about today to his buddy. At least I assume it was his buddy because the way they were interacting. But talking about his midlife crisis, and he went to Africa or something for since like July 19th to August 6th or something like that. So he was there for over 2 weeks, or just about. And he was hunting buffalo, and he was hunting. That's what he said, hunting. And he said it was just the most fantastic time of his life. But he came back, and all he can do now is post the pictures. And he's so excited because, I mean, he's now excited for the next vacation. Like, hello? Do you guys understand that y'all are living for vacation? Y'all are living to just vacate. Hello? Do you understand what I'm saying here? Now's the time to take your life more sincerely, ladies and gentlemen. And again, I'm not saying that you can't go have a good time or do what you want, but if you're living to just go on vacation, that tells me your life is not worth living. I love my life. I work 7 days a week. And it's not because I don't like to work, or I mean, I do have to work and I do like it, but I'm not trying to kill myself every day with work, okay? But I like working. I like doing what I do. And to see these people doing what they hate just to get a few days where they can take off and run away from their problems just to come back to the problem. Don't you want to be able to do something where you can go out and then you come back and life is still okay? Like, am I talking crazy here? I don't think so. I don't think I'm talking crazy. I could be wrong, but I don't think I'm talking crazy. Why would you take a vacation, or why would you continue to do things like that you don't even want to do, just to have a few days during the year where you can feel like you're free, just to go back to it, just to go back to that rat race? In order to graduate to the next level, in order to get to the next level, you've got to do what you need to do and be on your destiny. I do believe that, I don't even really believe this. I've seen it to be true, and I know it to be true. But a lot of people don't. So I'll say this. Predestiny is a thing. And your destiny is already predestined. You just have to fulfill it or not. You have the choice to, by the way. A lot of people will say that, you know, there's some new age conspiracies out there that, quote unquote, conspiracy. I don't know if it's actually a conspiracy, but there's some new age people out there that, you know, they think, well, you chose to come here. You chose to come here. You chose before this life that you chose to come here. Now, biblically, as far as the Bible goes, it does say in the Bible that God knew you before you were in the womb, which is actually kind of encouraging, because that means that it's kind of like a painting, right? Or something like that. It's kind of like a work of art. You know how you want to express it, but it doesn't really become expressed until it is expressed, right? Anybody that's played a song on the guitar or the piano or the harp, or just sung a song, sometimes you know the words, but you don't really express that until it happens. right? Life in that way is also very much the case. Life is like a dance. Some sages have said this, that we are to dance with the universe. And what I think that really means is to just be a vessel of God and to be a part of His will. And to live in accordance to that which is most high, and to live in accordance to the laws, statutes, and commandments of God. And when you're doing this, you're going to naturally level up, whether you know it or not. And it might not seem like you're leveling up sometimes when you have to lose friends or lose people or lose material things. But remember, Jesus says that he that loses his life for my sake shall find it. And you might think to yourself, well, I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know. I mean, in one way that's encouraging, but in the other, it's like, well, I have to leave everything I thought I had behind and move to this place where now I have no clue what to do. Well, it's part of this life. It's part of the faithfulness adventure. It's part of living in faith. And to live in faith and to not walk by sight. You know, a lot of people say, well, I'll believe it when I see it. Okay, well then, good luck having faith, because that's the whole point of faith. Faith is about giving a devoted piece of attention and commitment to something that you don't necessarily know will happen, but you have done everything that's possible to increase the likelihood of seeing that thing happen. And when we follow God's laws, statutes, and commandments, what we're doing really is saying, okay, God, I am following your laws, your statutes, and your commandments with faith that in doing so, my life will be better. And you know what's crazy? It will be better. That's what that shift is. But sometimes when you level up, you get some hate. And people may not understand what actually it is that you're trying to do. They may not understand what it is that you're trying to say. They may not understand that ultimately the goal of this life is to live in accordance to fulfilling life itself. And they see that you're doing this, but they maybe not understand it, but they feel it and they can sense it. And whether they reject it or respect it, either way, they're going to feel it. And that's what godly people do. And the more that you level up, you might find yourself more isolated. And in some ways, it's more peaceful in solitude, but in other ways, it's like, man, I'm not lonely, but this loneliness is really something else. There's a difference, right? Loneliness is a quality, whereas being lonely, that's a noun. More, at least you can think about it like that. But qualities can either grow or lessen in magnitude, whereas nouns don't do that. They are what they are. And so when we're leveling up and we're going through these times and there's a lot of wisdom and insight that's being downloaded into you, it's okay to sit back, chill, and just accept the downloads that are happening sometimes. Because last night I had one of those moments where I was just getting downloads like, whoa, just so many downloads. And it was overwhelming at times. And so I went on a walk and I sat under a tree for a while. Don't even know how long I was sitting under the tree for. It's probably only like 20 minutes, but in a weird way, it felt like 1 minute and 1,000 minutes in one time. And on the way back, I was able to get a meal in at home, and on the way back, I saw a hawk, which I found to be a symbolic gesture. And sometimes when you are leveling up, you'll start to see certain numbers or symbols or whatever like that to indicate that you're on the right path, or that you're just on the spiritual path. And it was almost like this hawk was I guess you could say, what's the term? It was more like a symbol of, what's that term? It's like a symbol of something. Omen. It's a good omen. That's what I felt like. It was a good omen. And when I got back and I had my meal and I rested for a minute and just kind of sat down in silent darkness and let everything just kind of soak in, that was really refreshing. And sometimes you'll have those moments where you just need to do that. And sometimes trying to exert yourself in those moments where you need to just receive is going to be detrimental to your health overall. So you want to just sit there and receive instead of trying to exert. And that's exactly what I did. And today, now I'm going back to that exerting and taking what I've learned and the insight that I've gathered and applying it now. So with that being said, I hope this message was useful and insightful. And until next time, peace be with you.